So, okay, here was the predicted order of finish for anyone who didn't see it for SEC basketball this year. Picked by the media, as always. Alabama 1, Auburn 2, Tennessee 3, Arkansas 4, A&M 5. Calm down, Max. We'll talk about the Aggies in a second. Florida at 6, Texas at 7, Kentucky at 8, Ole Miss at 9, Mississippi State 10, South Carolina and Father Lamont Paris at 11, Georgia at 12, Missouri 13, LSU 14, Oklahoma 15, and the Vanderbilt Commodores at 16. My question to everyone out there, and bias is welcome in the comments, which team is the most underrated team in the 1 through 16 predicted order of finish? Max, I will let you begin. I think I know where you're going, but there are other options as well you can pick from here.
I don't think you do know where I'm going.
Well,
I
mean,
think
look,
you do.
A&M, again, you're a big A&M guy this year, number 5. I could see you moving them up. But if there's a team that's further down and they can move up many more spots, then you could pick them as your most underrated team. So,
I'll be honest. I have fallen into the trap of overreactions here. And I'm buying what Porter Moser is putting down with the Oklahoma Sooners.
I did not see you going there.
I knew you didn't. Listen, Oklahoma, I think almost everyone who's done a SEC media ballot has Oklahoma in that bottom little 3 or 4. But when we went through the numbers, we saw, even though the talent might not be SEC level, their shooting numbers are fantastic. They have some fantastic 3-point numbers. And we were always like, well, we don't know how that's going to fit. Well, Porter Moser came out today and was like, we're a much better shooting team than I thought we were, and we're going to shoot it a lot more often than I thought we were going to. And it might just be a bunch of nothing, but for a team at 15th with a guy at the 4 and matchup nightmare like Jalen Moore, they've got some older guys. I don't know. They might be able to space the floor, and Oklahoma might be a little bit better than we thought they were going to be. I think at 15, I think they could jump up pretty high. I'll go Oklahoma most underrated.
Max, there are guys on the roster now. Shot a combined 41% from 3 last year, and I'm pretty sure that's the top number.
They got great numbers. I don't know if it'll translate. A lot of it's from lower levels, but the numbers say that they're going to be a pretty good shooting team.
And they hit, how many did they hit? 280. I guess that's an okay number. It's not a lot, but it's not a little.
Yeah, we'll see.
Chris?
Had, let's see, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys hit at least 25. So they spread it out a bit. It's cheating because I can't possibly be anything but wrong. I mean, anything but right or even, but Vanderbilt. I mean, I just that team has got. I've said this before. The team that last year there was a team that was picked last, and that team had more minutes compiled at the D1 level by its roster than anybody in the SEC. That team of South Carolina wound up finishing 4th, 5th. Made the NCAA tournament. I'm not saying Vanderbilt's going to go to the NCAA tournament, but that team this year that was picked last and also had more minutes on the roster that played at D1 level last year. That's Vandy. More experience than anybody.
My concern, and Max knows, I called them my sleeper team.
They're small.
3 months ago.
You were very big on them in the summer.
And I just don't know about the depth. And I think that's what worries me a little bit compared to a lot of the other teams. And I think I want to see it first. But they got a stud at point guard. And when you have a stud at point guard, you always got a shot. I mean, A.J. Hogarth's there now. And like you mentioned, they got experience. And I think they've got some shooting. So I can see it. I think, I don't see this as a... Oh, I'm going to give you my pick in a second. But I don't see this as a year...
our picks first before he gives us one.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I don't see this as a year where you're going to have one of those teams that's like 15 and 16 being like 3 and something. I feel like you're going to spread. Like, I don't know if there's a team like that this year. And as good as the teams at the top are, I still think you're going to have some of these games where, these teams are going to beat up on each other, and you're going to have 14 beating 3. You're going to have 15 beating 4 or something. Like, I think that can happen. So, I don't know. All right, my pick. which fan base has paid me the most for this selection?
Missouri.
I mean, everyone knows my biased choice is going to be Missouri. But there's another team that I'm going to pick instead. My official pick is going to be what I was texting you guys earlier. And that is trust the process when it comes to Chris Jans. Trust the process, all right? Because Mississippi State is picked at 10th, all right? Now, I don't know that I'm going to pick them to finish in the top 4 or anything, so maybe this isn't the best choice in terms of doing the math and saying which team can jump the highest amount of spots. But I told you guys, this guy has won at least 21 games. Yeah, I think I got to pull it up again. I gave you guys the numbers earlier. But it's just ridiculous, like when you look at the numbers. And even though they've gone 8-10 in the SEC in back-to-back years, they've made the tournament in back-to-back years. So he's won at least 21 games every year as a head coach, going back to 2015. And the one year he didn't was 2021, where they only played 20 games, because I'm assuming that was kind of the hangover from the COVID season, right? That was 20 into 21. So you had some of those teams that year. A&M, didn't they play like 20-something games or something too? So, like, I throw that season out. But remember, the year they didn't make the tournament at New Mexico State, where the tournament got canceled, 25-6, they were 16-0 in the conference that year. So they didn't even get a chance, where they could have won multiple games. But my point is, if you look at it, this guy has they just find ways to win games. Now, the difference is what Chris has already beaten me up over in the comments, right? Is everybody talking about Grant Nelson over here?
Yeah.
Okay. Max Barr, also known as Grant Nelson. Trust the process for Chris Jans. They're not going to be as good of a defensive team this year. They are not probably going to be, if you look at the numbers, I think it's going to be one of those Ken Palm years where you're going to see things just flip a lot for Mississippi State. But they got Josh Hubbard. They got Riley Kugel there now. And as I told you guys in the comments, all you got to do is outscore your opponent by a single point. Throw defense out the window. All you got to do is outscore the other team. I think Mississippi State has got the guards. We always say how great their front court was, right? And it was. It really good front court. But the fact is, when you talk about this league, you're going to win from the top in terms of the guys who are bringing up the floor, your guard play, and all that. And I think their guard play this year is going to be really, really good. So, plus they got Cam Matthews, captain of the bully ball team. So, I'm going to take a shot on Mississippi State here as my official pick. But again, if you're coming from Mizzou, you come through me first. So. If you want to bet on any of these SEC teams this year, if you want to take our advice and go all in on Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and Mississippi State, you can do it at BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for sports betting. Every stat, matchup breakdown, live odds, and spreads to bet on during games, including Janai Broom over-under three-pointers that you will see Max Barr jumping up and down like an absolute maniac about. Plus, they have the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB, NHL, NBA, to even political props. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino, play some blackjack or poker, plus over 150 slots games. Head to their website today, get on the action. America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet online. The game starts here.